Welcome back, my brothers and sisters, to IVI. I am your brother, YAHWEH. Thank you for tuning in again to this segment and broadcast with my father, YAHUAH. Thank you all, Israelites, who are keeping the faith in the word and the scriptures, following the true doctrine of the law, spiritual, divine, in the blood of Yeshua. May you be consecrated forever by knowing that you are chosen from your birth, and it was nothing that you did that therefore got you into this covenant, but it was selected by Yeshua, by the blood of his sacrifice. So today in this segment, we will have a very powerful teaching through the Father that I will bear witness to in the Spirit as he teaches us about this new and understanding that must be received. So before we get into it, I'd like to allow everyone to get water, drink, pens, paper, because this segment will pretty much take us 2 hours today. That will be my time. So I hope everyone bear with me and therefore understand what's here at hand. So give everyone opportunity to have that break to get their items if you haven't already. Okay, everyone, I'd like to go into prayer. So if we go into prayer, let's have a moment of silence here. And you can feel free to pray in your own prayer if you are capable of doing that. Almighty Father, I am your son. I come before you with my whole heart, as in respect and obedience, and knowing that here it is, you are here with us, loving us, teaching us, showing us, and allowing every one of my brothers and sisters to be kept safe under the guidance of the mighty hand of the Father, YAHUAH. May this spirit continue in each one of the 144,000 and the 1/3 of returns. May this kingdom know that they are the high priest coming back, chosen by Father YAHUAH. And may this message today receive them in their hearts to know that this is the truth, and you are sharing this truth with them to go forth and teach throughout their households, to allow their children to be bright and therefore illuminated in faith, to therefore be taken away from this world that is completely sinful by every level and angle. We know, Father, you are with us. You are for us. You hear us in our prayers. You also have given us the promise. You also have shared your protection for all of us Israelites who are under covenant and keeping the commandments. Thank you, Father, for hearing me, your son, YAHWEH'YAH. May you receive us today, Father, in this grace. Shalom, amen. Today, brothers and sisters, we will be talking about the true altar of Yahweh. Many have read about the altar of Abraham, Moses, and many other apostles. We know that today is a modern day time, and here it is, we are living in this time of this generation. And the Father wants us to know about our new altar. And here it is, what that means for us. So today, your brother YAHWEH'YAH will be used to explain what the true altar of YAHUAH is. First of all, everyone, it comes with prayer. We must understand prayer. And that means that for those of us that know who YAHUAH is, we actually use the righteous name that is given to our hearts. And we know that by prayer, it also comes with the promise. The promise is allowing us to know that we are under oath in keeping the commandments of each and every legislation and registration, because we are the Israelites. returned. And the Father has awakened us in many, many states and countries around this continent. And we know that it also this altar comes with protection. Because anyone that is keeping the covenant, serving the Sabbath, keeping the Sabbath, has that protection by the blood of divine presence of my Father Yahweh. Here it is, brothers and sisters. You must understand that here it is, if you do not utilize these three principles, you are missing out on your altar. Today, your altar is you. We're going to read today many examples in the Bible of the Hebrew book, our historical record book, our time machine that takes us to the past, the present, and therefore give us an insight into our future. For those of us that are on the right path, we know our future comes with grace. This grace is an everlasting, here it is, resurrection. Therefore, meaning that your names are in the Lamb's book of eternal life. So now we know we are dealing with today knowing the true altar of Yahuwah, what that means for us. And as I have outlined, it means prayer, promise, and protection. Now, each one of these are individually separated, but they are, here it is, concurrent. Because the Father, through the Son, have given us this grace by the blood of divine. And we know, everyone, that many of our brothers or sisters are suffering in their prayers. Because here it is, they haven't learned the truth to pray to the righteous Father without blemish. So today, here at YAHWEH, my Father will explain in this body as I am to bear witness and am truly obedient. Because here it is, patience must be given. Because here it is, you need patience. Many times our brothers and sisters are in this world, walking abroad, doing nothing, which means they lack prayer. They lack the promise. They lack protection. Because when we look around the world, we see many brothers and sisters struggling, going through the moment of transition, which has shifted them to the curse. And we know we are sad-hearted when we see our brothers and sisters struggling. And my Father, Yahuwah, knows this as well. He can feel it and know it from us that each day, no matter where we are trying to receive our brother's hand, our sister's hand, to lead them out of the furnace and into the grace. But one have forgot the principle of the altar, as it were in the times of Abraham, in the times of Moses, and as we see and know as the time of Elijah. And we know they all utilized the altar of that physical tabernacle. But today, brothers and sisters, I come before you, your brother Israelite, who tells the truth and bear witness to this truth, that my Father is here to explain to you the true altar of himself, so you can understand that you are to become and is that altar now and forever. Because he says you must continue to utilize your prayers if you have love for your brother or your sister. Your brother or your sister are those brothers and sisters that are in covenant, and those also, here it is, outside of the covenant. Because here it is, we are used in this earth as a light, a beacon for the calling of those who are in darkness, struggling with their lives. Because they are praying to the false deities. They're waiting from their government to give them the promise. They're hoping their police department give them protection. But we do not see that today, brothers and sisters. We are seeing our brothers and sisters being hacked down and killed in various locations around the world. And we know, we feel through the power of Yeshua that these acts are done viciously, because these brothers and sisters do not understand that they must come back under covenant. But today, for you who have been here with us at IVI, who understand and now have had the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding downloaded onto you, you truly understand what Yah is saying today. But today will be a brighter day for you, because we're talking about the kingdom of priests, sisters and brothers, inside of the New Jerusalem that is to come, that is already prepared for us. We're almost at the last seconds. As we see around the world, many are suffering, like I said, by the hands of police. They're being recklessly hacked down by guns. We see our brothers and sisters out here, younger, who are struggling with addictions. These addictions come directly from the dark side of the enemy. But without protection and understanding the love of my Father Yahuwah in the altar, now in modern day times, which all should embrace, which you will get opportunity to now understand this grace of this altar, you will now be compelled to therefore stand against evil. Now understand prayers, promise, and protection. Keep those three in mind, everyone. Write them down, please. Prayer, promise, protection. They work together. Again, prayer, promise, and protection. And we're going to get a little deeper into those three as we go along. But before I begin, here is a logic, small logic. Yah's word contains literally thousands of Bible promises waiting to be claimed in faith below, as we know, on earth, as we are here in this modern day time. One must be stronger now. Your altar have to be stronger now. Because here it is. Yah says, I want to consecrate you and continuously consecrate your brothers and sisters through you. But in order for me to get to them, therefore I must download more into you. So let's now, everyone, please, let's turn to 1 Kings chapter 18, 30 through 39. Reading from a different book here. So when you get to 1 Kings chapter 18, everyone, we're right on time. I got 2 hours here. Okay. So now understand Elijah. Okay. Verse 30. These are examples of, as I said, we're going into the time machine, back to the past. And then we're going to also see how it also lines up with our present, and to therefore allow everyone to see the future. Because this altar, the true altar of Yahuwah, is going to give you the true understanding of this meaning today. Now in verse 30, it says, when Elijah said to all of the people, come here to me. When they drew near to him, he repaired the altar of the mighty one, Yahweh, which had been destroyed. He took 12 stones for the number of the tribes of the son of Jacob. Now we know Jacob became Israel, and you will see that here in the scripture. To whom the Almighty Yahuwah had said, Israel shall be your name. He built the stones into an altar. You hear that? Stones into an altar to the name of the mighty one, Yahweh, and made a trench around the altar, large enough for 2 measures of grain. And when he had arranged the wood, he cut up the young bull and laid it on the wood. He said, fill 4 jars with water and pour it over the burnt offerings. Now, many of you, if you haven't been with us long enough about the burnt offering, you need to go look and view our video, because that would explain what a burnt offering is, as the Israelites will bring these to the priest for their sins. Because it's not saying that they all sin outwardly, but they sin in their minds. So that had to be redeemed. Now, burnt offering over the wood. Do it again, he said, and they did it again. Do it a 3rd time, he said, and they did it a 3rd time. Verse 35, the water flowed around the altar. Now here go water. Water represents purity, clarity, okay? Even the trench was filled with the water. At that time, for offering sacrifices, Elijah, the prophet, came forth and said, the mighty one, YAHUAH of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are YAHUAH, Yahweh, in Israel, and that I am your servant and have done all of these things at your what? Command. Okay. Answer me, Almighty Yah. Answer me, that this people, he says, may know that you, Almighty One Yahweh, are YAHUAH, and that you have turned their hearts back to you. The Almighty YAHUAH, here it is, fire came down and devoured the burnt offering, wood, stone, and dust, and lapped up the water in the trench. Now that's the purity, right? Seeing this, all the people fell consecrated. See that? In obedience. And said, the Almighty Yahweh is YAHUAH, the YAHUAH Almighty. So now I realize the people understood that now the power of the altar then was a physical altar. Today, brothers and sisters, we are the altar, because every day there is something wicked, right, being done against the righteousness sons and daughters of Yah. So what must be done? Prayer, which is bringing your burnt offerings up onto your altar, which is allowing you to take it directly to my Father. My Father who is in you is already direct with Yahweh. Yahweh, the Son, I am, therefore makes you pure by water, because now the commitment of the Spirit is now allowing you to be amplified in your understanding to know that here it is, the stone that you are for the kingdom. Because each one of us is a stone, a righteous stone, which Yah has built his altar upon. Amen. So now when we see this example here, this is allowing you to see that the people had to be introduced through Elijah, understanding who was being used by my Father YAHUAH to demonstrate the power of his righteousness upon a righteous altar. See, nothing can be done in vain with blemishes, brothers and sisters. So understand now what we have read here in 1 Kings 18, 30 through 39, give you a clear understanding how time have traveled. Okay, that's why I say our historical record book, which is the Hebrew Bible, is our time machine, because it allows you to travel in time with your mind and your heart. Your heart have to be filled with this understanding of righteousness and to be empowered by it. Because now the true altar of Yahweh now comes with what? Prayer, promise, protection. Didn't we just see that? The people came unto Elijah, right? Because now here it is. They saw that here it is. This altar is a righteous altar. But now in modern day times, our brothers and sisters must understand you are altar now. You must utilize your altar now by prayer that comes with a promise and fulfills protection. That's right. Let's go to Revelations, everyone. Chapter 8. And when we get to Revelations chapter 8, watch this, what my Father shows us, 1 through 5. When he broke open the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about a half an hour. And I saw that the seven angels, that's right, who stood before Yahuah were given 7 trumpets. Another angel came and stood at the what? Altar, holding a gold censer. He was given a great quantity of incense to offer. See this? Along with the what? Prayers. Then we say prayer. Of all the set apart ones. Now, when you see holy, we teach that is a pagan word, set apart. So he says, here it is, the golden altar that was set apart. Here it is, on the gold altar that was before the throne. The smoke of the incense, along with the prayers of the set apart ones. That's right. Went up before Yahuah, now from the earth unto the heavens, to the spirit of Yahuah, from the hand of the angel. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with the burning, here it is, burning coals from the altar, and hurled it down to the earth. There was pearls of thunder, rumbling, flashing of lightning, and shaking. They got earthquake. But here it is. Understand the power that every time it rains, you just found something out today. When it rains in thunder, prayers are being lifted up from the earth unto the spirit of my Father Yahuah, being answered. Those who pray and know that they have been sprinkled with the blood of righteousness. That's right. So now this is allowing you to know that when you pray, and here it is, you might say, when is it will be answered? Just understand, when you see rain and thunder, as you read in the scrolls in the book here, that here it is, that Father is answering prayers of the set apart ones, he said. Not those who are outside the covenant, who's not keeping the Sabbath, not keeping the festivals, okay? Not keeping the commitment to the commandment. Because here it is, they have a false understanding of the true altar of Yahuah, my Father. So now we're seeing clearly in this book, you now just found out when it rains, it's not just for the grass and the trees, everyone. It is a commitment that is being done in heaven before the throne of my Father, as you just read and seen with your own eyes. To understand your prayers are being heard, those who are set apart from this world, and those who therefore have come back into covenant by understanding the calling of my Father Yahweh. Now realize we must understand that this altar is now modern time, you and I, because we have been sprinkled, and here it is, trenched with the blood of righteousness of Yahweh. And that means that every time we pray something, we know it comes with a promise to be answered, and that we know that it would get there through the protection of that. that love of grace by the blood that we have been now consumed by. Now realize, my brothers and sisters, this is telling you something that you didn't think about or know. Every little bit, my Father is releasing little burst blasts to your brain that feed your heart, so you can have a full understanding and awareness of earth. And here it is, all that is done on it. Because now you have learned that when it rains, and now the altar is you now, sprinkled by Yahshua's blood, consecrated. Now you have an understanding that your altar is you. You are the stone that's being built, okay, each and every day. Because it's not like the church people who get baptized and they have an instant grace and then they go and sin and sin and sin. Or like any other religions who therefore take supplements over and over and over again. But here it is, you're learning the truth of who you are being built in, and the difference from the past to the present to see your future. Because without this knowledge, you have none. Wisdom comes from Yahuah alone, no man, no other. So one Israelite have to feed another Israelite, being used by the Spirit of Yahweh, giving covenant upon covenant, precept beyond and on precept, logic for purity, which is the water, allowing you to go forth knowing you are a walking altar. Every day something pains you. Why? Because sin is outside of you. That's right. So here it is. Why wouldn't you pray for those who you want to save, which is brothers and sisters who are out of covenant? Why wouldn't you know that when you pray, you have a promise? Because here it is, it comes with protection. And now you're aware when it thunders and it rumbles and it goes off. Many have had many sayings of what my Father is doing, but have never ever seen that he's saying, what I am doing is answering your prayers. Because you are altar of my Son, Yahweh. Now understand, we must now go to Matthew 24. Go to Matthew 24, everybody. Shalom. And look at verse 21 to 27. We will be reading. So now when we get here, it clearly allows us to see. For at that time, there will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until now, and never will it ever be. And if those days have not been shortened, no one would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, they will be shortened. If anyone says to you, look, here is the Messiah. Right? Ain't that going on in the world? People are calling someone the Messiah. He says, look, here is the Messiah, or there is he. Do not believe. False messiahs and false prophets will arise, and they will perform. That's right. They will perform. I have removed the signs and the wonders because that's not in the original scrolls. But they will perform. Okay? Period. So great as to deceive, if that wasn't possible, even the elect, the chosen, you and I, who are altars of righteousness. So you have to keep prayer, right? You have to keep your promise to the Father and the Son. You have to remain knowing that you are protected by protection of grace, by the blood of sacrifice. Behold, I have told it to you beforehand, verse 25. So if they say to you, he is in the desert, do not go out there. If they say he is in the inner rooms of a house, do not believe it. For just as, here we go, lightning comes from the east and is seen as far as in the west, so will the coming of the Most High Son be. Wherever the corpses is, there is the vultures will gather. So now, as we continue, verse 29, God went beyond. I won't go no farther. 28. So stop at verse 27. For just as lightning comes from the east and is seen as far as the west, so will the coming of the Son of the Most High be. Now understand here, we are talking about protection. Because here it is, we are seeing that prayer and promise and protection all works together in this grace. In your altar, your body is that altar. And we're seeing clearly that there is many falsehoods out here today. And we're seeing division among brothers and sisters who refuse to wake up to the truth. Why? Because they haven't understood the true altar of Yahuwah. They are still thinking of the past, as we read Elijah, as we seen with Moses, as we seen with Abraham. Today is a better altar made for those who have the spiritual grace of my Father Yeshua, Yahweh. He therefore blesses you by your burnt offerings, by your prayers, by you knowing that he is real, he is spirit, and in every one of us who have been received. No lie. Because your children will only praise Yah when they see deliverance. It will establish protection upon your children, your households, your jobs. Whatever my Father has blessed your hands to do will be blessed. Because you understand you are a walking altar now. Blessed with the blood of sacrifice of Yeshua. Now you understand why church cannot help you. Okay. Why man have been led astray. Why we have false messiahs walking around saying they are the Messiah, when evidence shows you they are false. So now we got to see that our brothers and sisters who are abroad, you can go to any city and see this. We have homelessness. We have addicts. We have the lost sheep. Okay. And we have many catastrophic events that are taking place today, as you just read, because Yah is giving you a puzzle, my Father. He's allowing you to see that you now are bringing your offerings directly to him through prayer. Because now you understand the true altar of Yahuwah is you and I. My brothers and my sisters, I love you. I am for you. You are for me. You love me. I love you. And we love those who are also outside of covenant, even though they're blind and cannot see. But it takes time, I tell you, for everything, and it takes time. So patience have to be Galatians 5:22 through 24. You have to utilize the 9 fruit. Now, as we see here, false messiahs are everywhere. No one is utilizing themselves correctly because they are not knowing that there's puzzle pieces that they're missing to their puzzle to see their vision. My Father's vision, because you're kept in this promise. And we just have to make sure that those who have been chosen now have this downloaded into them, that you are a walking altar. Not like those in before time, before you, but to understand now your time. You bring your burnt offerings through prayer. That's right. And it comes with you believing with the promise of my Father, which gave you Yeshua blood all over you. That's right. So now let's look at Isaiah 49. And we would be looking at Isaiah 49, 10 through 26, everyone. Now, when you get here to 49 Isaiah, pay attention. 10 through 26, everyone. Clearly says, they shall not hunger or thirst, nor shall scorching wind or sun strike them. For he who pities them leads them and guides them beside springs of water. There go water again, everyone. Means purity of clarity. I will turn all my mountains into roadways and make my highways level. See, these shall come from afar, some from the north, some from the west. Don't we got immigrants coming in? This is telling you, I'm catching you all up to where we are. Others from the land of Assyria, Shalah. Sing out, heavens, and rejoice, earth. Break forth into song, you mountains. For the Almighty Yahweh comforts his people and shows mercy to his afflicted. Wow, right? Right? So now as we continue, but Zion said, the Almighty has forsaken me. My Almighty has forgotten me. Can a mother forget her what? Infant? Be without tenderness for a child of her womb? Even should she forget, I will never forget you. See upon the palms of my hands, I have engraved on you. See that? You are altar, brothers and sisters. Your walls are ever before me. Your children, here it is, your leverers, your destroyers go forth from you. Look about and see. See this? They are all gathering and coming to you. As I live, says my Father Almighty Yahuah, you shall don them as jewels. Be decked yourselves like a bride. Continue. Through you were waste and desolate, a land of ruins. Now you shall be too narrow for your inhabitants, while those who swallow you up will be far away. The children of the womb, the children of whom you were, shall yet say in your hearing, see this? Wisdom. This place is too narrow for me. See that? The closer and more your altar becomes righteous by this understanding, this fits you now, because you see a world where you are narrowing out of, because it is so much evil and sin. Because now your little of goodness is now here, this small in this big evil world. Understand? This place is too narrow for me. Make room for me to live in. You shall ask yourselves, who has borne me these? When I was, here it is, born, exiled, retributed, who has reared me? I was left all alone. Where then do these come from? See this? This is the return, everyone. This says the Almighty Yahweh. See, I will lift up my hand to the nations and to the peoples. Raise my signal. See that? They shall bring your sons in their arms. Your daughters shall be carried on their shoulders. Kings shall be your guardians, their princesses, your nursemaids. face to the ground. See that? Consecrated. They shall bow down before you. This is all the 1/3. This is all the 1/3. Not the 144,000, but the 1/3. Because see, we're getting downloaded the altar to know that you are the walking altar. As he continued, and lick the dust at your feet, then you shall know that I am. That's right. The Almighty Yahweh. Now who hope in me shall be ashamed. Can plunder be taken from a warrior, or captives rescued from a tyrant? This says the Almighty Yahweh. Yes, captives can be taken from a warrior, and plunder rescued from a tyrant. Those who oppose you, I will oppose, and your sons I will save, and daughters. I will make your oppressors eat their own flesh, and they shall be drunk with their own blood. See this? This is called your protection. Every prayer that goes up from your altar is a promise that is made, and here it is, honored, because Yah says, I will vindicate these people, those who do not want to return or hear the calling of my servants who are walking altars, the true altar of Yahuah. They come by prayer, promise, and protection. So nothing can damage you or destroy you again like it was in Elijah, okay? Or like it was in the time of Moses. Remember the tablets? They was destroyed. So now we realizing that Father is saying, you must realize who you truly are in my son and how righteous the blood covers you. It covers your altar, okay? So now as we see this here, Isaiah, let's look at Isaiah 25. And we're going to pay attention, everyone, to verses 8 through 12. Take note where you may, because no one had ever heard this or knew it existed. But today you are being the fulfillment by being downloaded by my Father himself with this information. So therefore, you can therefore amplify your understanding in your heart to how important you are. Now in verse 8, Isaiah 25, he will destroy death forever. The Almighty Yahweh will wipe away the tears from all faces. See, we're hurting right now for our brothers and sisters who are not paying attention, who are foolishly being led astray. But we know the scriptures tell us that my Father will send them a deceiving spirit to believe. So some, and most of all, we won't be able to save everybody. The reproach of his people he will remove from the whole earth. For the Almighty has spoken. On that day it will be said, indeed, this is our Yahuah, who looked to him and he saved us. We looked to him and he saved us. This is the Almighty. That's right. To whom we looked. Let us rejoice and be glad that he has saved us. For the hand of the Almighty will rest on the mountain, right? But Moab will be trodden down, as straw is trodden down in the dirt. He will spread out his hands in its midst, as a swimmer spreads out his hands to swim. Praise Yah. His pride will be brought low despite his strokes. The high wall fortress he will raise, bringing it low, leveling it to the ground, to the very dust. So now we see this is the promise and the protection being talked about up on the altar of the individual. That's right. Because each individual altar is being given grace at a pace. That's right. Grace at a pace. Because here it is, you cannot rush this grace. You cannot force your altar to be built, right? Because it have to first start out with righteousness. Because no defilement or blemishes must be upon the altar, right? As it was in the days of Abraham, and so as it was in Elijah and Moses, okay? But we are seeing the truth here with your own eyes. So if you got a book in your hand that you are reading here today with us at YAHWEH, I know you're seeing a lot right now. And here it is, you are so thankful to my Father, Yahuwah, who we give praise every day in prayer, in promise, and by protection of knowing through the faith. Now, let's go to Zephaniah, and we're going to look at chapter, 1 and 7. Let me find that in this book. (10:27). So here, when we get here to Zephaniah, chapter 1, look at verse 7, everybody. It clearly allows you to see here, silence in the presence of the Almighty Yahuwah. For near is the day of the Almighty Yahuwah. Yes, the Almighty Yahweh has prepared a sacrifice. He has consecrated his guests. See that? That means blessed, prepared you. Because here it is, he has put his blood on your altar. Now you are seen clearly by the Father, because this blood is in your heart as well. And now here it is, this is allowing the guest of the 1/3 who comes in later to understand the consecration and the commitment that they just took through the scene of the sacrifices of the 144,000 around the world of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Judah is the leading tribe nation that will be and is. As we see here, silence in the presence of the Almighty Yahweh. For near is the day. For near is the day. Because you're out of the past and into the present, brothers and sisters. You're now seeing that Yah is near to you with new information, propelling your understanding. That's right. Bringing you into a real covenant of his altar. As you are made under that blood of sacrifice, that promise, right? And we see that here it is, even for the 1/3, he has consecrated his guests. See, we are the children. We know the 144,000. We know we the children of Israel. We are the Israelites. We have woken up ahead of our brothers and sisters who are still lost in the sauce in the world. Because here it is, they don't come to bear witness to Yahshua, but they come to bear witness to many other deities by many names. That's blemish. That's an altar that destroyed and tore down. Read Elijah, as we just had read earlier. And here it is, if you took note, then you will be probably later on going back to reread. Now, let's look at Let's go to Zechariah. Zechariah chapter 2. Zechariah 2:7. We're doing good on time, everybody. God is blessed. Praise Yah. So now, as we see here in Zechariah, my brothers and sisters, chapter 2, verse 7, clearly allow you to see. Then the angels who spoke with me, that's right, advanced as another angel came out to meet him. See this? You see this? Then the angel who spoke with me. What did he do? What are we doing today? We advance you. That's right. To give you now a puzzle piece that you never thought or knew about. That you are now the altar, sprinkled, covered, drenched with the blood of Yahweh. You are advanced. Now another angel came out to meet with me. So see, you cannot come near my Father unless you are consecrated, brothers and sisters. You have to understand that you must be made righteous by your understanding of heart. You have to fulfill the gospel as it is for modern day time. You have to catch up. You have to come out of the past and into the present to see a future that is for you, that has now written your name in the Lamb's book of eternal life. But you got to understand your altar, the true altar of Yahuwah, is being consecrated under Yahweh. See, under Yahweh, the tribe of Judah. So realize this is not a game. Angels are in your midst. Some have entertained them without knowing that they were before one. There's 7 standing by the throne that answers and take your prayers unto the Father. Then we just read that. So now understand, this is how we greet and we meet our brothers and sisters who we know and identify that is fighting for their life, for salvation, to keep the Sabbath pure as water, clear, with no mud in it. Keeping the festivals. And therefore being led unto your brothers and sisters who therefore will keep you steadfast in grace. Because your altar must be without blemish, as we are showing you here today at IVI, Intelligent Voices Israelites. This segment alone, which will give you knowledge from wisdom of Father Yahuwah in a short time, is easy to understand. We don't have to take up months and months. So you must get this. Angels are before you. Don't forget that. Now let's go to Tibet. Many of you probably never heard of that book. Tibet, chapter 12. And we're going to be looking, everyone, at verse 12. So when you get to Tobit, and it's spelled T-O-B-I-T, for most of you who are online and therefore have been part of the class, private class, every third Saturday. Now, when you get here to verse 12, now when you, Tobit, and Sarah prayed, it says, it was I. See that? It was I who presented the record of your prayers. Didn't I just tell you that a moment ago? The angels take your prayers before the throne. Yah just showed you that in this study today. to let you know that you are an altar covered in the blood of Yahshua. Those who have accepted the grace comes by prayer, promise, and protection. And now, as we see in Tobit, it was I who presented the record of your prayers before the glory of the Almighty Yahweh. And likewise, whenever you used to bury the dead. See, people mourn for the dead, which is acceptable. And here it is, your heart feels sorrow and grief. But for those who have no covenant. See, many people cry for people just because they knew them. No, we have cried because we know that they don't have the covenant of the altar of Yah. We see everything in this world is out of order chronologically as well, because the churches have led many astray. But now many churches are now coming into understanding of where they went wrong, some of them. And we're seeing that grief. We feel it in our hearts. And now we're showing you all what Father wants to show you here, that you are an altar now, that you never thought that you were. No one ever looked at themselves as an altar, taking the pains and the sorrows of the world onto their altar every day. Because you see brothers and sisters and children struggling. You see the homeless population crying out every day to my Father. And they are the most superior in heart. Remember the one that only had 2 cents to put in the offering? And others, they put what they wanted to put in there. But what did my Father say? Blessed is she, because she gave all that she had. So realize angels are here to help you. Downloaded by the Spirit of Yahuah and Yahweh. My name is Ye. When you look up Ye, it means that I am with someone. Ye means 2 people are with one person. Okay? So whenever you use Ye, you're saying, therefore, before anyone, whoever you say your name to, that I am not alone, but with Yah. Yah is in me, right? So now we see clearly, it was I who presented the record of your prayer before the glory of the Almighty Yahweh, Yahuah, and likewise, whenever you use to bury the dead. So now, that is in Tobit. Let's go to Psalms 141. Watch this, everybody. Praise Yah, Father, receiving these who are therefore here. Let their ears be continued in your spirit. And may the spirit of the Yah continue in Yahweh, lift them up day by day. So now as we get to Psalms 141, pay attention, everyone. Verse 1 through 3. Almighty, I call to you. Hear to me. Listen to my plea when I call. Let my what? Prayer be incense before you. Didn't we read that earlier? My uplifted hands and evening offerings. Set a guard, Almighty Yahweh, before my mouth. Keep watch over the doors of my lips. Do not let my heart incline to evil. See, that's why prayer is used in this altar. To perform the deeds in wickedness on, here it is, the delicacy of evildoers. Let me not feast, right? Let me not feast. So now you got to understand, when we see brothers and sisters who are lost in the sauce, we know they're going through a trial and a tribulation with understanding who they are. and what they were made for. We know the cunning of the devil, who is basically using Judas' spirit to go forth throughout the world, being a traitor to the Most High, turning man and woman, brother and sister, child against Yah, by the desires, the delicacy of their hearts. See, what's in your heart comes out of you, brothers and sisters, and it shows unto the altar of Yahuwah, who's in the heavens and abroad in every one of us through the Son of Yeshua, Yahweh, by that blood that was sacrificed as a burnt offering. Okay? Because now we are seeing, here it is, many of our brothers and sisters, 85% of this world is lost. We done gave you the numbers of how many people, citizens, returning as the 144,000 and the 1/3 that will be in this kingdom. And as we see, the remnant is a small remnant compared to your earth inhabitants now, which is in the billions. This kingdom will only be in the millions. And here it is, every child that is born, there is someone lost. So the count is always even, everyone. Only thing have been disturbed is man disturbing the order, okay, through evil and wickedness, as you read in this book and see it with your own eyes. Now we know, this is clear, that we must revisit Revelation chapter 8. Okay, we're doing good on time, praise Yah. It's Arizona time here. I'm at 1:45, everybody. So, thank you for being here at IVI, getting notes, preparing yourself for your teachings to around your area, to your family, to your beings, and therefore giving them new information, because that is the key, information. And here it is. That information is the key to get you as a citizen into the kingdom of the New Jerusalem that is at hand. Now, let's look at Revelation chapter 8 again, right? And I want you to look at and pay attention to verse 4 through 5. Verse. The smoke of the incense along with the prayers of the set apart ones went up before Yahuwah from the hand of the angel, right? Then the angel took the censer, filled it with the burning coals from the altar, and hurled it down to the earth. There were pearls of thunder, rumbling, and flashing. Remember, we wrote at this earlier, right? And now here it is in verse 5. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with burning coals from the altar, and hurled it down to the earth. There were pearls of thunder, rumbling, flashing, and lightning, and shaking, right? Let's go down to Ezekiel to enhance this. New book here. Now, when we get to Ezekiel, I want you to go to chapter 10, verse 2. It's just there. Some of you are there already, and that's so good. Ezekiel 10, verse 2. What do you see here? Now, when you get to Ezekiel verse 2, it says, and he said to the man dressed in white linen, go within the wheelwork under the cherubim. Fill both your hands with burning coals from the place among the cherubim. Then scatter them over the city. As I watched, he entered. See that? As I watch, he entered. So now you're seeing the past and now the present of altarship and the worship of therefore consecration. Because we just said prayer, promise, protection. This is what is needed. Prayer, promise, and protection. So now you must be in covenant to follow rules, right? One must be in covenant with someone in order to follow a rule, right? You all were young at one time and you had parents that ruled over you, right? So now we are seeing that you must be covered with this promise. But now, as we see in Ezekiel, it was used as burning. Here it is, coals and ashes. He says, go get them from the cherubim, then scatter them over what? The city, because the city was wicked. We're talking about ancient Babylon of Canaanites, okay? And we're seeing that here it is, we're seeing many wicked cities today that is not covered by the blood of Yahweh. Now let's look at Psalms also. Psalms chapter 11. Watch this, what my father shows. Psalms chapter 11, everyone. And we want to pay attention to verse 6 and 7. And rains up on the wicked, fiery coals and brimstone. Then we just see Ezekiel take from the cherubim to sprinkle the ashes over the city. And rains upon the wicked, fiery coals and brimstone, a scorching wind, their allotted cup. The Almighty Yahweh is just and loves just deeds. The upright will see his face. See that? If you do not know about this altar that you are, how could you be consecrated? Because here it is, it will be a walking with blemishes, mixing with the world. That is evil. So you do not want to add blemish to yourself while you are supposed to be a righteous, true altar of Yahweh, right? How could you be when you ain't? Prayer, knowing the promise, and keeping the protection of your commitment. That comes with keeping the Sabbath, keeping the festivals, learning as much as you can while you're here. Because as we know, in an instant, everyone will be in a twinkle of an eye. Okay? So now, but realize here that we're still allowing you to see that you are the altar sprinkled with Yahweh's blood. Those of you who have chosen. Let's look at Revelation chapter 4, verse 5. Watch this. Got about 20 more minutes, everyone. 30. So in Revelation chapter 4, what do we see here? Verse 5. From the throne, right? From the throne came flashing of lightning, rumbling, and pearls of thunder. 7 flashing torches burned in front of the throne, which are the 7, well, here we go, spirits of Yahuwah. So now you're seeing every time you pray in righteousness under righteous covering as an altar of righteousness in Yahweh's blood, your prayers are being heard. That's right. And you're going to have the patience of the promise to know that what you pray for is protected and will come at its right time. But you got to invest time, everybody. That's right. Getting to know how much you are important. Didn't we teach you before about moral law and conduct? Because now you're seeing not only do the 7 angels are under command of Father Yahuwah to do the will of Yahuwah, to bless you with the presence of Yeshua by spirit in the blood that comes with it. Look at Revelations chapter 11, everyone. Look at verse 19, everyone. See, this is going to make sense to you because here it is. You already done did the necessary steps to find IVI, Intelligent Voices Israelites, that the Father has set the foundation for information to give you a confirmation and a transformation. Then Yahuwah's temple in heaven was opened, and the ark of his covenant could be seen in the temple. There were flashes of lightning, rumbling, and pearls of thunder, and shaking, and a violent hailstorm. See this? This is allowing you to know when you see rain, everyone, and thundering. Sometimes it scares people, as I have bear witness. And many have said absurd things. Oh, Yah is upset. He mad. And they have used all of these different bywords of things to relate to this rain and this thunder, which is inaccurate information. It is clear that we're talking about an altar that is receiving righteousness, right? And that means here it is. You and I and the rest of brothers and sisters are consecrated in the blood of Yahweh. That means no denying the truth at all. Because then the truth would deny you. Because what you are seeing today here, my friends, my brothers, my sisters, in gathering of understanding to your altar, which is sprinkled by the blood of the Most High Yah, who they call Jesus, Lord and God. These are blemishes. Your altar will be torn down and your prayers will never be heard under false names. As we have said, false messiahs are in your world, saying they are the Messiah by wrongness, which they're not. Because here it is, my Father have led them into this world for others to believe, because here it is, they're not going to show you this truth. And that's why we see many of our brothers and sisters lost. And we hurt by that, because every time you attempt to give them righteousness, they come back with flames of fire to burn your hand. And therefore they shame themselves because your altar is prepared so well that it doesn't affect you, as we have pointed out here in this segment and broadcast here at IVI. We're here to give you the truth, everyone. How hard could it be to read and see when my Father gave you eyes, gave you a brain, gave you a heart, and on top of that, gave you a spirit so you can walk around in a body, which was given to you by free will. But free will must be handed back to Yeshua because you haven't done anything worthy enough of keeping your will. You're destroying your will with everything that you desire in a world that is cursed. Then we just see Ezekiel went to the angel, cherubim, got the coals of ashes to sprinkle the dust in the air over that city to try to consecrate it because it was so full of wickedness. So now you got to realize you got to come out of the past, brothers and sisters. You got to look at yourself more important than you have ever looked in the mirror. You got to see that you are altar, the true altar of Yah, when you are keeping covenant and stand among truth. Now, as we see here in 11. Yeah, 12. I'm sorry. It's a lot. One second. Let's now go to Revelations chapter 16. Because Revelations here, no, let's go to Revelations 19, as we just read that. And now let's go to Revelation 16, because I want to focus on 17 through 21. Revelation 16. The seventh angel poured out his bowl into the air. A loud voice came out of the temple from the throne, saying, "It is done." Then there was lightning, flashing, rumbling, peals of thunder, and a great shaking. They got earthquake in most of your books, but that's wrong. Shaking. It was such a violent shaking that there has never been one like it since the human race begun on the earth. Okay. The great city was split into three parts, and the Gentile cities fell. Remember Ezekiel spreading the ashes? But Yahuwah remembered great Babylon. Didn't I tell you that? Giving it the cup filled with the wine of his fury and wrath. Verse 20. Every island fled and mountains disappeared. Verse 21. Large hailstones like huge weights came down from the sky and fell on top of the people. And they blasphemed Yahuwah for the plague of hell, because this plague was so severe. Ain't you seeing this noticed in your world right now in modern day time, everyone? Because here it is, you got to catch up. So my Father loves all of you so much that he wants to give you this information so you can understand how long you got. And now you're supposed to get your altar together better than it was. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 14. Watch this. Isaiah chapter 14, everyone. See, this information have not just come to you for no reason. It came to you because you already made one step already. And my Father took 3 towards you to meet and greet you with greatness that comes by the blood of his sacrifice. Now let's look at Isaiah chapter 14, right? Pay attention to verse 12, and we're going to go all the way to verse 25, because this has to be broken down, because the true altar of Yahuwah, what it means for us as we are describing and prescribing, it means prayer, promise, and protection. Now here in verse 12 of Isaiah chapter 14, everyone. How you have fallen from the heavens, O morning star, son of the dawn, have been cut down to the earth, you who conquered nations? In your heart you said, see this? I will scale the heavens above the stars of Yahuwah, above the chasm. See? Above the chasm of Yahuwah. I will set up my throne. I will take my seat on Mount Assembly, on the high of Zephon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will be like the Most High, Yahuwah. No, though, I say, down to hell, to the ground of curse, you will be brought to the depths of the pit. When they see you, they will stare, pondering over you. Is this the man or the fallen who made the earth tremble, who shook kingdoms, who made the world a wilderness, raised its cities, gave captives no release? All the kings of the governments of nations lie in glory, each in his own tomb of his own mind. But you are cast forth without burial. Here it is, covered with the slain with those struck by the sword. What is the sword? The sword is the mouth, everyone. Your altar comes with a mouth that speaks. Then here it is, as we've seen in Elijah, that it lapped up the water in the trench. A trampled corpse going down to the very stones of the pit. You will never be together with them in the grave. See, this new judgment that comes on the earth will separate Halil, the devil, or Satan that they call him here, from his own people. For you have ruined your land. You have slain your people. Let him never be named, that offspring or offshoot of evil. Make ready to slaughter his sons, daughters, for the guilt of their, here it is, father of lies. Let not they raise and possess the earth and fill the breadth of the world with cities. And he says, I will raise up against them, says the Almighty Yahuwah, and cut off from Babylon name and remnant. See that? We're being separated. Us of righteousness and those who are of unrighteousness. Offspring, saying the Almighty Yah, I will make it a hunt of boot owls in a marshland. I will sweep it. Here it is, with the broom of destruction. Oracle, here it says, but it don't say oracle. The Almighty said this of the heavens. Verse 24. The Almighty Yahuwah has sworn, as I have resolved, so shall it be. As I have planned, so shall it stand, to break the Assyrian in the land, or in my land, and trample him on my mountains. Then his yoke shall be removed from them, and his burden from their shoulders. See that? This comes by those who realize the difference than what they have been in congregation to. Because now you're realizing commitment of the truth is in the world, which evil people hates, who are sharing the fallen star spirit of a vice through Judas go. That's right. Judas was a betrayer. A betrayer of what? Of the truth. Right? And now you have many Judas goats around in your land, committing you to evil, desires, pathways that lead to death and destruction. Okay? But there are angels here, righteous, as they stand before you, to allow you to know where you're going wrong, because Father says, I see your heart, and you want these puzzle pieces. And I'm going to give them to you individually at an individual time. But here it is. I will draw you to the angels in the spirit of Yahweh that will protect you by the blood of his sacrifice. Remember burnt offerings that we talked about earlier? And for all of you who are probably just tuning in, you'll probably have to catch the stream after we're done here. But for you who have been here, you have ate the bread of life of truth. Because here it is. It has been given to you freely, right? Because you have been in the right place at the right time, at the right minute and second. Because not long will you be able to get this truth. There is a time coming, everyone. As you have been watching your elections, as you've been watching the murders of police officers, murdering your brothers and sisters all around America, as you've been watching evil, trying to entice your children to wickedness on television and abroad, okay? It's everywhere. It's a plague. But you got to realize the true altar of Yahweh and what it means for you and us, who are committed to Yeshua. Go to Jeremiah chapter 9. Watch this. Jeremiah Jeremiah chapter 9. And when you get here, everyone, look at verse 12. And when we get to verse 12, we're going to be reading all the way to verse 25. Now watch this illustration of truth, because this is going to make your altar strong, because now you know you are walking the altar covered with the blood of Yahweh. The Almighty said, because they have abandoned my law, which I set before them, and did not listen to me or follow it, but followed instead their stubborn hearts and of Baal, as their ancestors have taught them. Therefore, says the Almighty Yahuwah of heaven and earth of Israel, see now, I will give this people wormwood to eat and poison water to drink. I will scatter them among nations whom neither they nor their ancestors have known. I will send the sword to pursue them until I have completely destroyed them. So now you're seeing most of our brothers and sisters who will not take or hearken an ear to be saved. This is for y'all. This is for them. And here it is. This can be some of your family members, some of your friends, some of your co-workers, some of your neighbors. Verse 16, this says the Almighty, inquire and call the wailing woman to come, summons the most skilled of them. Let them come quickly and raise for us, here it is, destruction. To our eyes may run with tears, our pupils full with water. See that grief that we feel for our lost brothers and sisters? The sound, here it is, of destruction is heard from Zion. We are ruined and greatly ashamed. We have left the land, given up our dwellings. Hear, you woman, the word of the Almighty Yahweh. Let your ears receive the word of his mouth. Teach your daughters. Didn't I just tell you that, everyone, before we got here? Because it's already downloaded in me. I'm doing this now as an obedience to be used in this body to allow my Father and Yahweh's Spirit to give it to you now. Teach your daughters, in each of other laminates, death has come upon those, here it is, through our window, has entered our chattel to cut down children in the street. Ain't you losing children every day? Going to jail, prison, drugs, prostitution. Cut down children in the streets, young people in the square. Corpse shall fall in the open field, like sheaves behind the harvest, with no one to gather them. See this? This is no lie. This is completely no lie. This says the Almighty Yahweh. Let not the wise boast of his wisdom. That's right. Nor the strong boast of his strength. Nor the rich man or woman boast of his or her riches. But rather let those who boast of this, that in their prudence they know me. Know that I, the Almighty Yahweh, act with fidelity. That's love, brothers and sisters. See, not like the church or the congress of church goers. This is totally something enhanced or advanced. The Almighty act with fidelity, justice, and integrity on earth. See, why is everybody saying they got to wait? We are hearing that, right, brothers and sisters? People are saying, oh, we got to wait. No, you don't have to wait when you are altar now in modern day times of Yeshua, covered with his blood. You can pray things into existence, okay? Because it goes directly before the throne, as we have read. And the seven angels, therefore, take these prayers and put them on the altar. How I take delight in these, says the Almighty. See, days are coming, verse 24, when I will demand an account of all those circumcised in the foreskin. Egypt, Judah, Edom, and Ammonites, Moab, and those who live in the wilderness shave their temples, for all of the nations are uncircumcised. Even the whole house of Israel is uncircumcised at heart. Right there. See? Your altar, brothers and sisters. This is my Father's words. Your altar have to be advanced, because here it is. Yah is giving you this information. Why? To equip you to be stronger, a stronger altar with the blood of sacrifice on you, in you. Okay? But those who don't want it will be destroyed, and they're being destroyed. There's no waiting to be destroyed. They're being destroyed, because here it is. We can see their grief, their pain, their sorrow. And it affects us who are righteous in the blood of the Lamb. Because it could be a friend, a neighbor, a family member, a wife or a husband, a son or a daughter. And this is where life is failing. Because everyone, 85% of this world is looking in the wrong direction. Because my Father had put a deceiving spirit on those people to not be here at this place at this time where you are getting this information. It's not for everybody. It's not for the dog. Okay? And here it is. It is to only advance you, to let you see the love of the Father through the Son. Let's go to Exodus before I close. Exodus chapter 10, everyone. And I want you to pay attention with me. Verse 21 through 29. Then the Almighty said to Moses, stretch out your hand towards the sky, that over the land of Egypt there may be such darkness. Now, didn't Ezekiel just do that when he went to the cherubim and got the ashes and spread it over the city? So now you cannot tell someone that it never happened, it will never happen again. Every generation, this has happened, just with new faces and new bodies being tested as gold to see if you're pure enough for this kingdom that is at hand. That one can feel it, it says. So Moses stretched out his hand towards the sky, and there was dense darkness throughout the land of Egypt for 3 days. People could not see one another, nor could they get up from where they were for 3 days. But all of the Israelites had light where they lived. Pharaoh then summons Moses, Aaron, and said, go serve your almighty Yahuah. Only your flocks and herds will be detained. Even your little ones may go with you. But Moses replied, you also must give us sacrifice, here we go, and burnt offerings to make to the Almighty our Yahuah. Our livestock also must go with us. Not an animal must be left behind. See this? For some of them we will select for service to our Almighty Yahweh, the Almighty. But we will not know with which ones we are to serve, here it is, to Almighty Yah, until we arrive there. See this? Verse 27. But the Almighty hardened Pharaoh's heart. That's right. And he was unwilling to let them go. Pharaoh said to Moses, leave me and see to it that you do not see my face again. For the day you do see my face, you will die. This is what he told Moses. Moses replied, you are right. I will never see your face again. Why did he say that, brothers and sisters? because Moses knew what had been downloaded into him, that all evil will be taken from your midst. You will never ever see evil again once you are now consecrated by the blood of Yahweh. And you're utilizing prayer, promise, and protection, knowing that you are the altar of truth. Being able to see that here it is, the scriptures are fulfilled in you today, giving you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, power, and authority. Blessing your household, your children, and even your friends. Because only friends of goodness will be friends with righteousness. So wherever you go, you will bless households. And therefore, the altar will be with you wherever you go, because you are the walking, living altar by the blood of sacrifice. So today, brothers and sisters, I hope you go well and be well, knowing that what you have been given today is for you to know, to have a part of your heart, and to look in the mirror and see your altar, a true altar of Yahuah, through the Son of Sacrifice, Yeshua's blood, covered all over you. And you are to live and believe and know the truth, and stay with your brothers and sisters who are giving you this information, who are sent angels in your time. I am your brother, your friend, YAHWEH'YAH. I thank you, Father, for hearing the voice of the people, allowing them to receive your will, your grace from Yeshua, and allowing Yeshua to come and visit them in every household. May he cover them with his blood and bring them into the fold of love. Transformation brings on confirmation in the kingdom. I send my shalom to my friends, my brothers, and to everyone that has welcomed this grace. Amen.